Hi everyone. Hello, hello. Sorry about that. Oh, hi Indy. I need to go put you in your crate. But hi everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I am sticking behind the camera today as we dye some yarn inspired by this really fun fluorescent rock. And yeah, I am very excited. Now, this is a combination August and September dye along, which I'm not sure if that means I'll do another live stream in September, but it means that the recap for this will not come out until early October. So you will still have a full month to dye along with me. And yeah, I cannot wait to see what you all create. And so today, let me make this smaller. Immediately looking at this image, I knew I needed to use two fluorescent colors. So let me make sure I have my monitor up here so that way I can see. Any chat? All right, so I have Fluorescent Safety Orange, Radioactive, Extreme Blue, which I thought would be fun for those blue tones. There is not a good fluorescent blue acid dye. There's one brand maybe that has one, but I don't think it works that well. Really, the yellow pigments that are in both of these work great. And then pink is a little bit less bright, but I'm not planning on using much pink today. It's possible I may decide I want to grab it, but I think we're going to stick with the Radioactive and Fluorescent Safety Orange. For the black today, I have Toner Black, which does break. It has, I think, some red and yellow pigments. It's not a primary color, but I don't use this one nearly as often as I use True Black, so I thought that it would be fun to use that today. Now, this is a dye along, and so what I'm going to be doing today are the techniques and the yarn bases and the colors that I chose, but you're welcome to dye along at home and use any colors, any yarn bases, any kinds of techniques. Or you can try to replicate whatever I end up doing here today. That is a very reasonable choice as well. But if you would like to be featured in the recap, which this recap will come out in October, all you have to do is share pictures of the yarn that you dyed on Instagram using the hashtag ChemKnitsDyeAlong, or you can reply to the photo comment that's, I think I've pinned now on the ChemKnits Facebook page, but I do have a link. Yes, I believe I have a link to that post down in the video description, so that can be an easy way to find it. And so, yeah. Now, as we play with these colors, if we look at the rock, the orange and the green are really intermixed. And you might be concerned about what might happen if these colors layer on top of one another. But that's actually something that we have done before. There is a Dye Pot Weekly video where I did a triad color mixing using Fluorescent Safety Orange, Radioactive, and Purple Pop. And you can see that the Purple Pop actually is very much, I think, the dominant player here. But Radioactive really is a minor player. And so where those two blend together, you end up feeling a little bit more yellow, but it doesn't really feel brown because we don't have the blue in there. So in theory, I'm going to attempt to keep some of the blue away from the orange, but I mean, we'll see what happens. And yeah, where this project takes us. So I'm going to put that away, and we are going to make this smaller, and then we're going to get started. And that way I will be able to see it. Now, if some of you had paid attention to the promotion that I've done for this event in advance, you'll know that I had to delay the start. I had a minor medical issue that I think is going to be just fine, but I don't want to be self-conscious about it. So that's why I'm like, I'll just be behind the camera today. Oh man. Oh man. It's a minor reaction. Ooh. Sleeves of sweaters and crocheting Christmas angels. So awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start, I think we're gonna dye the yarn with the dry powder in a steam pan for the first colorway, and then I have some other ideas. Now, there are 3 different yarn bases that I do have pre-soaking. I'm going to bring over the pan. So that way there is something here. And we'll see if I have it in a good, well, I can adjust the camera so we get the pan in a good spot. But we'll be dyeing, oh, that is not the right thing. We are going to dye Wool to Dye For's Platinum stock, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And we're going to be dyeing some That Yak, which is, whoops, so I do this, which is a combination of superwash merino, yak, and nylon, and I am totally blanking on those proportions right now as I attempt, where did it put it? Here we go. I have panned all the way over. Fine. We may be a little off center. Nope, that is not what I needed to move. Oh man. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm just, yeah, I will like get distracted looking at it. But I'm fine. I really am fine. Okay, close. Let me double check what That Yak's percentage is, because I am overthinking things. Okay, it's 70% superwash wool, 20% yak, 10% nylon. And then I also have a platinum long hank, which could be fun to make something a little bit more stripy. And so that is another thing that I have. But I think we're going to start on platinum. Okay. Oh, it's so funny. These skeins feel so long. So lately I've been dyeing a lot of yarn for Hanukkah, and the platinum mini skeins and micro skeins I dye are a lot shorter. The hanks aren't quite as long as these full ones are. And so I don't know if you remember, I think it was a Hanukkah video where I wondered all of a sudden if things shrunk, because one year I dyed a combination of full skeins and then pre-made mini skeins. And so all of a sudden something felt really short. And that's because those were minis, not full skeins. And I forgot, because sometimes when mini skeins are bundled, they can look like full skeins. But we are going to scrunch this up. And I think I want to do most of this color application while things are cold, and work it through a little bit. But let's go ahead and add some water to it. I'm going to add, I think 8 cups of water, well, 3, 4. I'm going to start with 5 tablespoons of white vinegar and 8 cups of water, and we'll see how much of that we add. Hanukkah pre-orders are not available yet. But hopefully soon-ish. But yes, when Hanukkah pre-orders are ready, I will not only post about it on my website, I will post about it. There is a piece of dirt. I will post about it on just YouTube. I will also probably do a live stream to announce the pre-orders. But yeah, every year I make samplers that have, I think this year there will be 9 different colorways, because there will be a bonus, like an extra 20-gram mini that's random from one of the nights. And then I can make a sentence. So there will be a 20-gram mini skein and then 8 individual nights and then fun extras and stuff. And so it's not intended as a fade set, but it's a lot of fun. Am I sure I added vinegar? Oh gosh. If you watch the most recent Dye Pot Weekly, I actually filmed that video while I was streaming. I did a live stream where I filmed a lot of episodes of Dye Pot Weekly a long time ago. And so I was in the middle of streaming and then I was like, oh, I totally forgot the vinegar. So I've added maybe about 6 cups of this mixture. Between 5 and 6 cups of this mixture. And I'm going to set the rest of this water aside. We'll add it as needed. But then we're going to be using these colors and sort of not quite speckling per se, but I don't think I'm going to go, well, I'm torn if I want to go a little bit more repeating-ish. Because things are scrunched up, it wouldn't be perfectly repeating. But we'll see what the colors want to do, and that'll help. Okay, so all of the tools and equipment I'm using are dedicated for dyeing yarn and are never used for the preparation of food. And in addition to that, since I will be dealing with dry dye powder, I am now wearing a respirator mask, safety glasses, and gloves. So I will be a little more muffled. And if I remember correctly, and let me know if I need to speak louder, but I'm going to try to speak not projecting my voice so that way it doesn't reverberate as much with the mask. All right, I'm going to start with the extreme blue. Oh, I need my yarn mop. I have another skein of platinum that is just soaked in water with vinegar. And so I'm like, I need to check. Oh, you actually can see it a little bit. And I think I'm also going to attempt to film a time lapse of this. Cool. Please speak. I should speak up a little bit more? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Red Tower. All right. Rebecca, this is a dye-along recap. Now, I do want to make sure my fingers are completely dry because I don't want to introduce moisture into the dye containers. Now, I don't love these tall ones as much as I like the short ones. And so, goodness, I think what I want to do, and you know, maybe we will go in sort of straight lines. Extreme blue is very, very blue. But I was hoping that it might give us the tone that I want. And now there's acid in here already. And I don't mind if we end up with some speckles. But what I'm trying to do here is work this color through the yarn. Even though I know it's going to strike mostly where I put it. And see, there's some specks of color, which I do not mind. I don't mind at all. But eventually, I will flip the yarn to dye the other side, and I can add more blue as needed. And now my plan, I think, is to do some of these like fluorescent colors, but then we'll add black sort of around. I don't really know. I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but we'll see. I kind of like the like striped feel. And so we will see where this takes us. So this is the Fluorescent Safety Orange. And the thing about these colors that are fun is that they do glow under a black light, which is extra
fun, which I know I said already. All right, now I will be, when I bring this to the stove, I don't have a camera over there today. So when I flip it to dye the other side, which honestly, because of these fluorescent colors, may not be until later anyway. Yeah, you might not see as much. All right, and now I'm gonna go, I think I'm gonna do green and green. But you see how like this kind of thing could be really fun on a self-striping yarn. But yeah, originally I thought I might go a little bit more random with the placement, because while there is like striping, there is also randomness to how this is placed in the stone. But then this is what ended up speaking to me. Now this green will look a little bit less muddy once the colors, as I can speak English, it'll look a little bit less muddy once it has heat. It tends to be just like a beautiful bright neon green. And then it'll look really, really cool as it fluoresces. So this is sort of the starting point. The orange is very bright. This colorway could be really cool on a zebra yarn base. Okay, and so now my plan, as I fly by the seat of my pants, is to take the toner black, which again is not a color I've used as much. This one technically does break. So that's just something to keep in mind. And so that's why I don't use it as much, because I like, if I'm going to go for black speckles, I want them to be black speckles. Now the thing that might be challenging for me today is to make sure that my black sections are deep enough to be a little bit of what I wanted. So I'm just going to need to remember that as I go and add more dye. And you can see we're not getting full color penetration. We're getting reasonable color penetration here. And there's a little bit of black speckling on some of that orange, but that is okay. That is something that I am going to do intentionally. I'm going to add some black splotches throughout the yarn now. Okay, coming back in with this toner black, bringing in a little bit more onto the blue where I want it, and then I'm sort of speckling, and some of it's going on everything, but a little bit at the interface of some of these colors. So not all over, but a little bit all over. I'm just going to work this through a bit right there. And now I am going to wipe my hand on the yarn mop as best I can. And before I take the pan over, I want to grab a photo. Yes, the inspiration picture is of a rock taken with a black light. So it's natural fluorescent pigments. Not that dyes are necessary. I don't know where the pigments originally come from. So I don't know, but I'm now going to take this over to the stove and I'm going to start heating it. I really, really like the way the black sort of brings some color in. And so, yeah, I will definitely need to add more color to that once I flip it. And I can take the mask off for a bit. But I'm going to do my best once I flip everything to try to add the colors to the same kind of placement as I did with the first round. Need my next steam pan. Whoops, and I can turn that off. Okay, and I will be right back. Okay. And so now, goodness, I think I want to do, well, maybe I should wait a moment and see if these colors spread or stay where they are put. If they stay where they put pretty well, then I'm going to be real happy. I'm really, really liking how this is going. Although I definitely see a spot where it could have used a bit more black, but I can hopefully adjust that as needed. There we go. All right, I think I'm gonna get the self-striping one. The green looked like the surface of the sun. Cool, yeah. The fluorescent yellow pigment is amazing. What did this do? Aha, there we go. Trying to find the right yarn. Okay, and so now with our self-striping yarn, I forget if this is a 5 meter or 6 meter skein. I need to decide if I want to do something low immersion-ish and do it in the steam pan or what. And I think maybe. I added on this extra zip tie so that way I could keep things from getting too tangled in the pre-soak. There's no acid on here yet. And I need to think about how we're gonna do this because it would be fun to have just like different sections of color, and they don't need to be perfect, which is why I think an immersion technique may work. But I'm gonna do like, here's a branched section that maybe will be black, and then we might do so some like orange or some green and then some orange, and then a little bit more green. Do you see I'm sort of like spacing that together? A little bit more orange. Maybe then some black. And some blue. And then some of these colors will be in smaller sections down there as well. So let me see if I can get this a little bit more this way for you. Is that better? So the way that this pattern kind of goes is we have black, and then it'll go green, orange, green, orange, black, blue. I hope that that makes sense. Oh, you were hoping recently that a new self-striping one? Thanks. Yeah, the only problem with doing self-striping yarn is that it, oh goody, this seems to be doing what I wanted it to do. The only problem with doing self-striping yarn is that it takes a long time to wind into a more manageable hank.
Okay, so our black has struck pretty quickly on the stove, and our fluorescent colors are going to take longer. I'm probably going to give it, goodness, at least 15 minutes before flipping, because once it's just like the bit of yellow that's left, that's less of a big deal, but the pinks and the orange will probably take a little bit of time. So there's that. Okay, I am really excited to be able to see this under a black light. So I'm going to take these 2 cups of water that I had mixed with acid over at the beginning and add this onto our yarn. We only have 100 grams of yarn here. And eventually I will need to add more liquid, but I think that for the beginning, for sort of moving these colors around, like there will be some spread and shift, and we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I certainly hand painted self-striping yarn before, but I don't want these stripes to be perfect. I want it to give us streaks of color and random pops when knit up. And since it is self-striping, that means I will be adding a swatch in the recap video, because I always try to swatch self-striping yarn so you can get a sense of how things look. But while you're at it, please make sure you're subscribed, give the video a like. You can join to become a channel member and get like a membership badge and be able to use some fun ChemKnits emotes. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? You can do that, and then you can also, yeah, you can go check out my Etsy shop and buy some yarn.
And I have my shop pin. Oh no.
See, this thing always comes off. I have a new mask, but I haven't pulled that out yet. So I'm waiting to like really be done with the filters in this one,
And then I'll just swap, because I probably could have just tried to find some new elastic, but this works. Okay. I need my gloves, my glasses, my eye protections back on, and here we go. Okay, let's start with our green. Start with the green this time. Bring the powder on, and I'm going to bring some down there as well. And it'll be okay if some of it ends up over there or over there. That's not going to be an issue for us. Okay, but now I'm going to start working this in, and you can see how the colors will spread just because of resist sort of that exists here. But color is working through pretty nicely. I'm going to get some more. You know, we might end up with some like mottled things. I want this to feel organic. That is my goal. And I don't know if I may add some black specks on some of these areas or not. Sort of see how things go. I'm just kind of working this through. Now, radioactive and fluorescent safety orange are both colors that break. That's because they both have like the fluorescent lemon pigment, but then the green has some blue and the orange has some fluorescent fuchsia. Okay, that's looking pretty darn close to where we had started, so that's really good. Oh man. Okay, this one I did not. Okay, I hope I remember. I will try to take some clips of this at the end, because this one I ended up not I didn't start filming my time-lapse video. Okay. I'm gonna work this through. Okay. Yes, yarn mop. Yarn moppity. Ooh, toner black seems to give a very nice gray. Just checking the side. Okay, I want to add a little bit more. Now, if I wanted these stripes to be more perfect and I didn't want colors to bleed into the different sections, because I don't want it to be perfectly repeating, I would like there to be some, quote, flaws, because we're emulating a stone. But if I wanted it to be a little more perfect, I could separate these colors from one another a little bit more, and that would help. Cool. Yarn mop. All right, let's do the black next. Move the blue over. We've got our two big black segments. And I really want to make sure I lean in to this. And so as I'm speckling on the powder, I'm really trying to distribute it, because I really, really want to get good coverage. But again, if some of this bleeds onto the other side and we end up with some segments that are a little bit interrupted, again, we're going for something very, very organic feeling here. And I'm actually really enjoying this. I love when I'm not trying to be perfect. I don't know, that makes me like really, really happy. You can see we've got some really nice coverage here already. And, oh, I need to do this one. So you can see some of the black is going here onto the green, some is going onto our orange. And again, that is perfectly okay. So we're now going to add a little bit more. And I'll probably add a few black speckles on as well. But I will probably do that last. The thing with getting a black with this kind of technique is that it can be really hard to make sure that things are going to feel black and not gray. But at the same time, you don't want to have too much dye, you know? So I hope this works. I have no idea if I'm doing a good proportion of the different colors. The thing about this that's, again, hard is that this is a type of colorway that would be so hard for me to scale up and do much more than 100 grams of, just because I know that there are tools that can help you, so you could like automated wind the yarn, but even using a nitty knotty or something, it's just a lot of winding by hand, and so, yeah. All right, now I have to do the blue. And again, these are all Dharma acid dyes that we're using today. And the blue is not fluorescent, but it might look pretty cool under the black light. And I don't think I'm going to need more of it. I think the amount that we have here already is pretty good. But I'm going to have to think about how this is going to set, because part of me wishes I had something so I could wrap things up a little bit better. Because if I could wrap it up, then that would help. But I don't really want to move it. I do want to add, and I know they're not going to be everywhere. I'm just adding a few black speckles in some spots. And cool. All right, got a little bit there. So again, these speckles aren't going to be like repeating in any kind of way, but they're going to be fun. And okay, I've decided how I'm going to heat set this. We're going to start by leaving it outside for a bit. Yes, I think that that makes sense. Okay, because I want, before I add water, I want there to be some time for some of these colors to start to strike. And I think I need to change the, something. I need to change the brightness for all of you, but okay, I do want to film a little clip. And yes, I will then adjust your brightness. Okay, let's move this, oh dear, forward. For the self-striping colorway, I arranged the yarn as follows. We've got black next to green, then orange, it goes back to the green, back to the orange, then to black, blue, and then through some sections that are smaller of the color. My hope, as we let some of the black bleed into the orange and some orange into green, my hope is that we will end up with something that feels really organic once we knit it up. That'll be like part of a TikTok or something. I don't know. I'm still learning there. Still learning. Where are my where's my control room? You know, it's funny, on my iPad, the text wasn't updating, but yay, Swatch. You love swatches in my videos. Oh yes, I can talk about that in a minute. Yes, this is very orange. Oh, let me adjust the, ooh, I can do two things. First, let me adjust brightness. Oh, I know where that window is. Properties. It's still not showing up as bright, oh my gosh, as it feels in person. But let me grab something. I've got a black light right here. Oh. Okay, it's too bright in here. Also, maybe this is the bad black light. Well, we're gonna try this again. Oh, I was like, that was not dramatic. One of the black lights, I can sometimes have a little bit of ambient light. Maybe I should turn off the overhead. But I was like, I see nothing. Haha. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to show up well for you guys on camera. Ooh, but that's going to be cool. Yeah, so I don't know if you could see anything, but I could see it. But yeah, I realized that sometimes it doesn't make sense to go all the way into my closet. Oh, you can see a little bit on the orange and green. I'm seeing that come through now. I wondered whether we'd get a black light during the dye process. It's definitely hard to capture during filming.
Okay, so I'm gonna take some foil now. I'm gonna go find my foil. I bought new foil. Okay, that will get checked on in a little bit. But the good news is the first yarn we dyed in the pan is looking very, very great. All right, so I'm gonna, actually I wanna take a picture of it. If I can find my phone. It's not in my pocket. It's behind the monitor? Yes, it is. Like, I'm gonna take a picture here as well. Yeah, my phone does a better job at capturing the color levels. So what I'm gonna do is set this outside, not overnight, just for a couple of hours. It's hot, and that should help some of those colors strike where they are. And then then I'll be able to start heat setting and add a little bit more liquid without everything running out immediately. So I'm gonna go pop this outside. Plus, this means I will still have access to the stove. I need more of these steam pans. And now I should be good. I should be good as long as it doesn't start raining on me and that I remember to bring it in. So I am going to quickly check. All right, we've done 15 minutes. There's a tiny bit of orange, but a lot of the colors have absorbed. I'm gonna go ahead though. It's not gonna hurt it to give it more time because maybe I'll flip that and dye that when I'm off camera. And we'll think about what we wanna do with the yak colorway. Chat amongst yourselves while I'm gone. All right, but first, what do I need to do? It's weird not sitting down on the floor to be on camera, but it is, my back's appreciating it. Okay. All right. Oh no, the focus went. The focus is really mad at me. Well, that I can fix. Camera control. Focus. Not auto. Turn off autofocus. There we go. That's better. All right. Is it possible to cover tightly with foil and bake to set? Yes, but I don't put commercial dyes in my oven. And the main reason why I don't put the commercial dyes in my oven is that, well, honestly, it's because it's hard to clean and I worry about spills and stuff. And same with, like, I don't put commercial dyes in my microwave for the same thing. The stovetop, it's really easy for me to scrub. And so, yeah, I don't know. Those are sort of limits that I set for myself. But yes, with that amount of liquid, oven or something could be decent. I'm debating what I want to do on the yak. And I think I might want to do something a little bit speckly with these colors. So I'm going to bring over the yarn. And so the yarn pre-soaked in water with no acid. Right here I have some water with vinegar, and so I'm just going to transfer these skeins in there so we can add some acid and make sure that they are not mega tangled. But I'm going to talk about swatching. So a lot of yarn will look different when it's knit up depending on the number of stitches, the kind of stitch pattern you're doing, whether you're knitting flat or in the round, whether you're knitting or crocheting or weaving, the craft that you're doing can vary the way that the colors blend and look a lot. And so if I was doing a lot of colorways that I dyed often, then I would want to have swatches of them because I would want to show how things work up. But I dye so many small batches that where I'm dyeing 100 grams, 200 grams, and that's it. And so for me to swatch every single one of those colorways would take a while. And I just don't have the time or capacity to do that for all of the yarn. To, take all the ties off, put it on a ball winder, knit the swatch, unknit it. That's just more time than I usually have. And so that's the main reason why I don't. Excuse me, I'm going to drink a little bit of water. But with self-striping, I think that for the technique, having a swatch helps you see, okay, in the long skein, how many colors, how many sections are there? Okay, in a swatch, how long are those stripes? And that way you can know if you're making your own super long skein of yarn, okay, I need to make it longer because I want each stripe to be 4 rounds and things like that. So, yes, there is that. All right. This water I can remove. And let's see. I'm going to give that like 1 more minute. I'm trying to catch up, just missed the start. Woohoo! Tea and knitting. Yay! This whole thing is giving you Halloween vibes. Yes, I definitely can see that. There was a colorway, was it last year that I did the jack-o'-lanterns with the smoke, and so we added some blue in there. I loved that. And what's funny is that when I found this initially, I was like, okay, well, this is fun. Actually, I was inspired by, I posted the picture on Facebook and Instagram. I was inspired by some rocks that I saw at a museum. And I was like, ooh. And so then I went and found a prettier picture. And so that's how that happened. That's better. Better brightness. Yeah. Just got here. What exactly is that pic? It is rocks. And so let me find the picture of the rocks. ChemKnits dialogue. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so here is a picture that I took at an exhibit. This was I think the Museum of, I don't know if it was Science and Technology or something. It was in Portland, Oregon. And so there's this display, and you can see the rocks and then push a button and see the fluorescence in them. And I was like, ooh, that's really, really cool. But since I was taking a picture through glass, this picture wasn't that good. And so then I went and I looked for other rocks that I could use. So, yeah, so then this is just some rock under a black light. And yeah, I mean, whew. So one thing that I haven't done is in that self-striping yarn, you can see the like veins of color in here and how they sort of like mix together and things like that. That isn't something that's going to show up as well on the yarn that we've done so far because the colors spread enough that it wouldn't be easy to get those green speckles in the orange without some resist, but then they would blend. And I've already shown a little earlier what the colors blend into. And so it wouldn't be ugly, but we would lose some brightness. And so those are all things to just kind of keep in mind. Yes. Woohoo! Yeah, you were looking for Dharma dyes to dye for inspiration. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for October yet. I might do something different. Oftentimes I do like something very fall in October. And well, yeah, this color palette does feel fallish. So I have some ideas. I have some ideas. Okay, now I'm not going to worry about how much how much water I squeeze out here, because I did do a video where I did speckling on yarn that had less water and more water, and ultimately the results were very, very similar. Did I just publish that video for everyone? It was early for patrons. I think that one just came out. Like, I don't know what today is anymore. I'm all over the place. I'm setting up my steamer basket. That way it'll be hot. And when I was going through my stash, looking at different colors, I was debating a little bit what I might want to use, and then decided to use the That Yak base because I'm going to have to reduce the exposure again. As the light outside changes, so does what we can all see. I got really, oh no. Did the camera freeze? Oh, because that's not my, okay, that's fine. I wasn't looking on my monitor. Logitech. Figure video. Exposure. Oh dear. Here we go. Someday, I'll be able to have someone who can manage this for me. Oh, but I thought that there was something so rock-esque about this yarn already, so that even if some of this warm-toned gray, cool toned brown, even if that ends up showing through, and we don't get full coverage on it, I think that'll be okay. And we know how amazing this yarn looks under a black light. It is truly incredible. And so, yeah, I think that we are going to speckle using less blue than the other colors, and probably less black than the other colors. But I think the plan is to mostly speckle onto here. And I've got my yarn mop there. Okay, I turn on the heat. I should cover the steamer basket. Cool. You want to do orange green with some purple? I have done a Halloween colorway like that before, and I adored it. Okay, you guys can see. Let me see what I can do with this camera as well. Okay. Looking good. I'm going to put my respirator back on. You just finished eating your dinner. So your diet's... you're fighting the urge to strike your sauce on the spaghetti. I love it. I love it. I get cursed spaghetti comments a lot with regard to the yarn. Hi, Simply Incognito. Thanks for joining the live chat. Welcome, welcome. Oh no, camera, I want you to be filming. Okay. That is recording. I'm going to dry off my fingertips. And then let's start with the blue. And I'm not going for super tiny speckles. I'm going for something chunkier. And I'm not sure how blue this blue will feel. And I think with the blue, I'm also just doing a few random bits of it on here, which I know is really hard to see, but I can see it. And of course I made it so I can't see the monitor. Okay.
I think we'll do black in the end. Let's do the fluorescent safety orange next. Okay, this you should be able to see a lot better. And I don't want to do too much, and these colorways will all have some differences to them. But I know that where this will pop, and I can guarantee it will pop, will be in the under a black light. It's going to look awesome. But the yarn mop is going to be a little muddy, but that's because we're blending all these colors and, well, we're going to get some mud. Oh, can you see it? You could barely see it. In person, I can see it a little bit better. I'll try to bring the black light back over. Yeah, the green might be a little harder to see. Sorry, everyone. I think that this is going to be a really cool yarn, but as far as the stream goes, it's not as exciting. Because I think that it's just very, very subtle. But again, I'm going to bring over, that may have been a lot. Oh man, I'm going to bring over the black light. But speaking of black, it's time to add that glowing mud. Basically, but I have speckled on this with these fluorescent colors before, and it looks beautiful. So, okay. Trying to be a little bit finer with the black, but who am I kidding? I'm just going for it. We will flip the yarn and add color to the other side. Whoop. Okay, I am going to turn off the heat on the first colorway we did, and I don't think I'm going to film it when I flip it, but I will be flipping that soon. I'm going to turn off the timer, but I'm going to pop the yarn mop into the steamer basket for a little bit. Yes, timer, I just want to wash my hands first. Rebecca, cut the end of that last clip. I'm going to get the black light again. Now, I don't know how fluorescent the dye is without being on the yarn. Oh, I don't know if this is showing up. I don't know how much you could see. You can kind of see it here. But I tell you, that orange looks so cool. So, so cool. I don't think you can see it though. I think you need to be here. But I promise we will do that. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes. Let me see if that shows up at all. Oh, did I miss the whole thing? Yeah, I know you missed the whole thing. The replay of it. Okay. I am gonna hang back over here and drink some water. Do you have any questions? Oh. I'll finish washing my hands. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat because you have me here live. Oops, and I can close that. It's cool. Now, the blue and black maybe don't look substantially different at the moment, but I do see the difference. And
with that yak, the yarn does, like, it looks really, really dark when it's wet, and it looks a lot lighter once it dries. So that should be helpful. But man, our yarn in the steam pan, that first colorway we did, looks perfect. I turned the heat off on it. I do still need to dye the other side, but I figured it's not going to hurt it to cool off a little bit before I flip it. Okay, but the main reason why I'm waiting here is just because I wanted to give the yarn mop a little bit of time to set the color, not because of what's going on here. What's going on here, I could flip and start moving right away, and that would be fine. I just want the yarn mop to get a little bit of time and then cool a tiny bit. If you over dye a fluorescent yarn with non-fluorescent color, does it still glow? No, not necessarily. And the reason for that is that in order for yarn to fluoresce, or a color to be fluorescent, it needs to absorb the wavelength of light, and it gets sort of excited, and then it emits that light. And so you see what feels like that glow, that luminescence almost. The problem is that if you cover your fluorescent green with, say, black, when you add the light, that black dye is going to absorb all of that light. And so maybe there could be a little bit of hint, but yeah. And so I think it depends on how things are layered. But I do think I tried dyeing a fluorescent colorway once and then over dyeing it with black, and it didn't really glow anymore. But it's also possible I didn't use enough fluorescent dye, so yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to do that again. Okay, reduce the heat to low. Cool. Not enough time to set the color at all, but enough to, like, some of it will have set versus nothing. And so that will help me continue to use it as a yarn mop. But I'm about to flip the yarn the other side, but I'm going to need to find new stuff. I'm not sure if there are any fiber reactive dyes that are fluorescent. I'm going to look if I can. I'm not sure. I mean, there are things that come up, but I don't know. Did you choose a darker yarn to speckle to get jewel tone fluorescent, or just because it's pretty? I chose it because, let me find a picture, actually, of, let me see if I can find a photo. Screen grabs from editing. Okay, I definitely had some in the spring mini series, so I'm gonna have to go back a ways. Okay. Okay, that's that variegated night. Tell me I have some black light screenshots. No? Oh, come on. How do I not? I was like, I've got to have a picture of that. Maybe did I film that later? Okay, there's black light. Nope, I do not see it. All right, I am going to find the video. Hold on, because I want to show you guys. All right, ChemKnits tutorials. Spring mini skein mini series. I want the speckling night. Please tell me that I did a black light. Nope, I want more. Okay, I need to wait for the ad. Did I forget? I think I didn't show a black light in the video. Do I have it on Instagram? I'm like going down this rabbit hole. I was like, I have a vision. Oh, Rebecca. Sorry, I'm like down this rabbit hole wanting to. Nope, let's see if I have a. Okay, so this is not, I better sit down. Okay. Let me do window capture. Wait, what's the window called? ChemKnits / @ChemKnits. Okay. Okay, so here we go. This is, this is some speckles on the That Yak base. And so here you can see the fluorescent safety orange on the base. You can see the fluorescent lemon on the base here as well. But then under the black light, it looks so cool. So, so cool. The pink doesn't quite pop as much, but that's why I decided to speckle with this on this yarn, because of how that goes. And then this is the way that those similar colorways look on just regular bare yarn. Still really fun. It's a lot brighter, but it's still really, really fun over there as well. And so that's what I'm going for. It's just, and of course things are so dark now. Oh, goodness. Okay, we'll just try to let it auto expose, because the sunlight changing really just shifts the everything. Would it work to do fluorescent speckled over plain black, alternated with black speckled over fluorescent? Maybe. Someone should send me. I do think I have a video, but it's been a while, so I'm gonna just kind of write this down. Okay. All right. Let me get back to it. I'm gonna go put my mask back on. Stand up again like the old lady that I am. I know I'm not old, but I'm feeling old today. Oh man, Keith's out of town for work, and so it's me and the boys. Which is wonderful, but also just, I'm tired. And then, yeah, going to urgent care always is great. It's always great.
I like the doctors there, but I was just like, I would really like to never see you ever again. Oh. But again, I'm fine. Everyone's fine. Just needed a professional opinion. That is all. Okay. But the hard thing I realized is that when I set up a stream on my phone, I cannot, or no, when I set it up on my computer to use with my streaming software, I cannot then on my phone edit it, which is perplexing. And it's annoying too. So I wasn't able to like shift the time, and so that was adding to my stress a little bit. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you think it's pretty. All right, let's do the extreme blue first. Again, and I believe that it was like mostly down here. Now, I didn't have to do this color again on this side. There's nothing that says you need any kind of symmetry, but sometimes it's just fun. Okay. Yeah, and that's just giving me a little bit more space to work with on the yarn mop. I'm not sure how much of the mop you can see, but I'm moving things around. Give me a little more space to work with. Oh man, Rebecca's list of videos to do keeps on growing, which is a good thing. But seriously, if there are any videos that you wish I would do that I haven't done yet, feel free to leave them in comments on video. I know this summer I'm a bit behind replying to comments, but I'm slowly working my way through. This summer we had a little bit of travel. We went to Oregon for a wedding of someone who's essentially like, he's basically a brother-in-law, except he's not actually related to my husband, but they may as well be, for they grew up together. What was I saying? But so we went to the wedding. Yeah, between like a couple like little travel things, we went to Legoland, New York, which was awesome. Like our first family trip since the pandemic started. But then like both kids ended up with ear infections. I had a sinus infection. And then, yeah, but my eardrum has not ruptured. So that's good. Oh man. But yeah, there's just been, I feel like it's just been a lot. There's been a lot that's just kept me away from my computer. We had friends earlier in the summer who stayed with us for weeks. Early in the summer, we also, like, I was just like, I feel like I just can't get a break this summer. And then coming up, I have jury duty, which I'm actually starting to get a little excited about. I don't know how I'm going to get to the courthouse. I'm a little bit nervous about that because it's far away, and I drive short distances, so I have to look up and see how to get there on public transportation, because I think I need to be there too early for Keith to drive me, but he might be able to pick me up. So hopefully it's only like a couple of days. But yeah, I'm just a little nervous that I'm going to be put on like a big trial or something that lasts a while. But you know what? It is what it is. So if I disappear for a bit at the end of September, that would be why. But that's why I'm working to get like the Hanukkah yarn all dyed as much as possible. So we should be good to go there. All right. Adding some more black. There may be large empty sections, but you know what? I think that this is going to have an organic feel to it and a fun glow. And that's the fun thing about these rocks too, is that they're fairly unassuming, but then bam, you look at them under a black light and it's really cool. All right. I am now going to put these in my spinner basket without the yarn mop, very carefully. I don't want to rub it. It did clearly rub a tiny bit. I don't mind if we end up with like streaks. I want to get some of this dye off of my hands before I go put the lid on. Tomorrow's the first day of fall. Yeah, well, my kids don't start school until next week. So, oy. Yeah, I haven't even figured out if I'm ready for all the back to school stuff. All right, so we're getting to a point with this mop, which actually looks really cool, where I'm starting to push the dye around more than what I'm wiping up. So now we're going to clean it with some paper towels. Okay, and we're going to steam set this yarn for 30 minutes. And I'm not going to clean up completely because I still have, ooh, this green from everything mixed together is really pretty. If I had had some mini skeins of yarn or something, I could have wiped this up with some minis, but I do not have any right now. And I'll do a full, let's see, there's still green coming up. I'll do a full complete wash of this before like I turn my kitchen back into a kitchen. And I always like wash the floor and stuff just in case. There's a little bit of color left there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm curious to know who decided to point a camera at a very unassuming rock and then decided to see what the black light would do. Ooh, I don't know. I'm sure that that's something that could have been discovered by accident, probably. And then people looked for it. Let's see. Oh, this is what I wanted to do. I haven't flipped it yet, but here is that first colorway. It's looking really great. What the hell? I'm seeing like, I was like, I saw what looked like, I don't know, I saw what looked like speckles that was on something where they shouldn't have been from today, and it wasn't. So I'm like, that's good. But I'm going to check the floor, just in case. No dye on the floor. Whew. That's what I always like to see. I don't want to see dye on the floor. That's not where I want it. Yeah, well, the picture that we're using here today certainly was not one that was found in happenstance. That was a specimen that they knew glowed and was a good example of it. But yeah, I'm not sure when fluorescence was first discovered or how it was first discovered in the world and things like that. So yeah, it's just been, I wouldn't say the summer's been super rocky as much as it's been hectic, which is a good thing. It's been really nice, but yeah, I've just felt off balance for a while. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
But what did I say? I said the other day, I think I have 5 of the 8 nights of Hanukkah all dyed up. So that's good. That's really good. But anyway, I think that I am going to head out. Yeah, it's been a day. Thank you again for being so understanding with the delay, the couple-hour delay, and then that I didn't bother setting up a face cam today. I hope to be doing more streaming once school officially starts. I'm very, very excited about that. Again, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new live stream. That way also you can get notified when I actually go live if there's a delay from the scheduled time like there was today. And if you would like the yarn that you dye to be featured in the ChemKnits Dye Along recap, which from tonight, that video will be out in October because this is for August and September. If you would like to be featured, then please share pictures of the yarn you dyed inspired by this really cool rock on Instagram using the ChemKnits Dye Along hashtag, or on Facebook, just look for the post with this picture, or even on this picture itself. The post does have 2 images in case that's confusing, and share the yarn that you dyed. But yeah, oof. I'm trying to think if there's any other announcements. No, not really. So anyway, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope, again, to be doing more streams in the coming weeks and months. And so I will talk to you all soon.